The Mobile Suit Gundam franchise has been going strong for over 40 years now and has made an impact on Japanese culture, whether it's through watching the different anime series, reading manga and novelizations, building Gundam plastic models or Gunpla for short, and of course, video games. In today's review we'll be looking at Mobile Suit Gundam Battle Operation Code Fairy, a 3-part third-person shooter for the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. Of course there are going to be spoilers as I'll be discussing and showing footage of the character's suit upgrades, but other key story moments I won't mention for full enjoyment. Mobile Suit Gundam Battle Operation Code Fairy, which I'll just shorten to Code Fairy for simplicity's sake, is set during the 1-year war period in the Universal Century timeline for Gundam. This point in time was when the Earth Federation forces and the Principality of Zeon were at war due to Zeon's declaration of independence. In Code Fairy you're put into the shoes of Ensign Alma, a young soldier who arrives at the Zeon base of TMNT, hidden somewhere in America 8 months into the war. Alma joins the noisy Fairies squadron alongside fellow soldiers Master Sergeant Helena Hagel and Ensign Mia Brinkman as pilots commanded by Lieutenant Commander Kelly Garrett, a Zeon ace turned commander, and her second-in-command, Lieutenant Barbara Hahari. The team is also supported by Maintenance Chief Urmela Gruber. Together they take on missions fighting the Earth Federation forces in America during later parts of the 1-year war as Zeon's first female-only unit. The game is a companion to the online multiplayer game Gundam Battle Operation 2, sharing its engine, assets and gameplay, while providing a single-player experience as well as a story. But is this game any good? Find out in The Good. I do like the game's presentation as well as the gameplay modes available for it. The main story is split into 16 chapters, with volumes 1 and 2 covering 5 chapters and volume 3 covering 6 chapters. Each chapter is presented in the style of an anime episode, complete with opening and ending sequences, as well as animations and dialogue to build the story for the chapter, and even a next chapter preview to give you a hint of what you'll be in store for. The chapters of volume 1 mainly introduce the gameplay mechanics of Gundam Battle Operation 2, and what you learn in that chapter is something you'll need to apply for the battles in it. There are also elements that aren't present in Battle Operation 2, such as pilot skills, which Alma, Mia and Helena can use to give yourself the advantage in a fight, as well as a tagging system so you can assign your teammates to focus on an enemy in particular. The game also introduces a chain system where you and your teammates can chain attacks on a poor enemy to deal extra damage. The higher the chain, the more damage is dealt. The mobile suits work in a rock, paper, scissors fashion with raid type suits, general suits and support suits. Raid suits emphasise speed and mobility and are good against support, general suits are all-rounders and are good against raid, and support suits are normally long-range specialists who are good against general. You deal more damage and take less damage to suits you have the advantage against, but you deal less damage and take more damage from a suit that you're weak against. Each chapter is split into 2 battle stages and can range from you having to eliminate all enemies in the stage to defending allies or destroying a certain target. Depending on your performance, add certain criteria, such as completing a stage with X amount of time remaining or taking less than X amount of damage. It varies from stage to stage. You can unlock artwork, videos and music, mobile suits to use in other game modes, or custom parts that you can use to boost the performance of your mobile suit in the single player story or in other modes. The other modes available are simulator battles, in which you're put into situations you'll need to complete. Some of these battles do teach you the gameplay elements of Battle Operation 2, such as planting a bomb in the enemy base, or hijacking an enemy mobile suit, and completing these can also award you with custom parts that you can use on your mobile suits. You can unlock additional simulator missions if you link your game to Gundam Battle Operation 2, and if you link Battle Operation 2 to Code Fairy, you can gain rewards and some of the units from Code Fairy to use in Battle Operation 2's game modes. There are also cost limit battles in which you and a team of AI players fight against another team of AI players to see who would have the most points after a certain period of time. These can unlock more mobile suits for cost limit battles or simulator battles in Code Fairy, and the battles are mainly based off the default ground battles in Battle Operation 2, in which teams consisting of other players as well as yourself duke it out for supremacy. You can also revisit any training missions from the story if you need a refresher. As someone who started up Battle Operation 2 first but never really dabbled too much into it, I found Code Fairy to really help get my head around what to expect in Battle Operation 2, as well as an opportunity to learn how to play the game. For those who played Battle Operation 2 first and got used to it already, you will feel right at home stomping the Federation in this game. Another thing that I do have to point out is that the game on the PlayStation 5 does make use of the DualSense feature when firing weapons, which I found was a really nice touch. The game's story was another thing I also enjoyed. The game does mention key parts of the 1-year war, such as the death of Gama Zabi, the commander of Zeon's Earth Attack Force, which happens early in the Mobile Suit Gundam series, as well as the pivotal Odessa campaign. The game also makes nods to other Gundam series and games set in the time period, such as the Hildalpha from Mobile Suit Gundam Igloo, as well as the Midnight Fenrir cores from the PS2 game Mobile Suit Gundam Zeonic Front, for example. As well as the main chapters, each volume has 2 side stories where you play as different characters during the events between some chapters. There is another suit from a previous Gundam game which does appear, though I might keep quiet on that one. Can't reveal all the cards here. The other thing with the story I did enjoy was the character development, and it was nice seeing the noisy Fairy squadron overcome their challenges and get closer as a team. The story is quite light-hearted given the depressing nature of the 1 Year War, with the chapters showing the girls enjoying their time on base. Each character gets an upgraded mobile suit throughout the story to complement their specialties, and I do appreciate how the game doesn't paint all Zeon soldiers as antagonistic and Federation soldiers as paragons of good, though if you're familiar with the Universal Century as a whole, this wouldn't come as a great surprise. But that's it for the good, so let's check out what wasn't so good in the bad. While you can replay chapters to try and better your score to get rewards, as well as try them again on different difficulties, it feels jarring not being able to access things that you've learnt in later chapters to apply them in earlier ones. It sort of defeats the point in practicing those newfound tactics to all scenarios. While I found the difficulty quite fair for normal, there is a sharp difficulty spike I found for the last chapter, and while I could fend off the enemies, I was finding myself running out of time. I did manage to beat it in the end, so practice makes perfect, but the spike was certainly something that blindsided me. Much like Battle Operation 2, the controls are slow and clunky, so you need to make sure every bullet counts, as reloading takes time, swinging your melee weapon again takes time, swapping weapons takes time, dodging takes up pretty much all of your boost gauge for the most part, and to cool down takes time. Beam weaponry, while powerful, needs to recharge, which, you guessed it, takes time. The speed of the game is a little jarring if you're coming in from other Gundam games such as the Gundam Breaker games or the Versus series, as those games are much more fast paced. But hey, it could be worse. You could have slow clunky controls as well as paper fragile mobile suits like in Mobile Suit Gundam Crossfire, where your suits are constantly losing their heads and arms, severely limiting what you can do to the point of frustration. I also found that the enemy AI can be pretty brain dead at times, which makes them easy pickings, but sometimes this problem can befall your allies as they can get carried away and get destroyed in the process. Your allies can thankfully respawn providing you've captured a beacon, but the more times they're destroyed, the longer it will take for them to respawn. I think I've covered the stuff I didn't like about the game, so we'll wrap things up with the opinion. I really enjoyed playing Mobile Suit Gundam Battle Operation Code Fairy. I never really got too into Battle Operation 2 prior to playing the game, literally just completing the tutorial, since one of the things I really wish it had was a single player story, and this game pretty much scratches that itch. The presentation of the chapters as anime episodes was quite well done, and I liked the game's story. The gameplay mechanics and modes made going into Battle Operation 2 more comfortable for me, and Code Fairy is an excellent gateway if you want to learn how Battle Operation 2 works. Of course, if you're coming in from Battle Operation 2, you can show off how easy it is to stomp the enemies. The only issues I had were minor, such as not being able to use new features on older chapters, and the slower and clunkier gameplay may not be for everyone. But it was not enough to sour my experience. If you're a fan of Gundam games or like piloting big robots, then this is certainly a game worth trying out. I went in optimistic and the game delivered. So with that, it's time for my rating. I would give Mobile Suit Gundam Battle Operation Code Fairy the MS-18E Comfort out of 10. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next Infinite Backlog review. If you enjoyed today's review, feel free to check out some of our other videos and subscribe for more. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram and our Facebook page. Once again, thank you for watching.